Coming up on Rugby Wrap-Up, NOLA Gold star Taylor Howden. Brought to you by Friends of the British Council. Hey everybody, Matt McCarthy and Steve Lewis for Rugby Wrap-Up at the Fantasy Sports Network, Studio 34 here in Midtown Manhattan talking rugby. And we've got Major League Rugby star Taylor Howden on the horn.
Thanks guys, thanks for having me.
Brought to you in part by AFIA Sports Training Group. So, Stephen, I don't know if you recognize his accent, but I know that you know him. So he's a Kiwi.
He is indeed a man of more clubs than Jack Nicklaus. You know, he's played for a lot of places, a lot of people. Talented player, a little long in the tooth, but still an effective performer, if you ask me, week in, week out.
Indeed. Taylor, your rugby resume for the folks at home, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're a young New Zealander that started playing with the Ponsonby Ponies Junior team. Was that one of your first teams?
Yeah, Ponies Juniors. Back then it was called Ponsonby Kelston.
And that's a storied club down there, 1874. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it seems about right. We had my coach was Vainga Tuigamala when I was a youngster. So,
and a ton of All Blacks have come through there. Let's get back to this side of the pond and this side of the world with your team. You started out with a big win, an upset win as far as most folks were concerned, and then we picked you because Nate was on the show and you guys were undefeated. So then it was a bit of a letdown in Austin. What did you think of that match?
We just kind of came out a little bit flat against Austin. Disappointed in the way we played. Disappointed in the way things sort of started in the game. We weren't really playing to the way we wanted to play. Our systems were sort of failing us, and we just weren't playing in the right areas. And Austin had sort of nothing to lose. You know, they were backed up into a corner. They were 0-2. You know, had they lost that game, that probably would have been their season. But they had everything to play for, and they kind of just wanted it a bit more than us.
Steve, Austin's got a bunch of veteran guys. Do you think the guys said, "Don't panic. Let's keep this thing going," and we're at home?
Yeah, I mean, Drew mentioned it himself. You know, it's not about ranting and raving and that kind of sort of loud leadership. You can't do that over a full league season. You can't be doing that every Saturday. You've got to pick and choose your moments towards the end of the season, beginning of the season. So I don't think it was necessarily leadership, but they I did look like they were a little more fired up than you guys, and they were a little more ready for the game. I thought actually with John Sullivan, you nicked a couple of tries that perhaps didn't deserve, and I thought you were there, and I thought you were going to pull away, but it never seemed to happen. Austin seemed to take control of the game after that.
Right at that sort of point, we took the lead. I think we were winning just by a point, and you could kind of see the momentum changing in the game. And then we just were able to let them back in it with some, silly sort of errors from some of our decision makers. And obviously we were dominant in the scrum, but you can't just be dominant in one area and expect to win the game. You have to play a full 80 in all aspects of the game.
You had a nice little kick into space that was turned back the other way.
Yeah, I just thought at that point I was just trying to make something happen, and probably the wrong decision. One bounce into someone's hand and then 60, 70 meters for a try. So I had to wear that one.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been exciting watching the rugby so far, and that's a good thing. I mean, it's never fun being on the losing end, but you guys were on the road, and it was actually, and this is not consolation for you, but it's actually a good thing for the league that Austin didn't start the season 0-3, and Utah is in the same boat right now.
This weekend. Yeah, so looking forward to this weekend's game. You've got Seattle coming in, and so what would you characterize as their threats, their strengths? What are you looking to sort of negate there?
Well, I think if you saw obviously their first game, they had a very dominant scrum, and then their second game against Glendale, they were still pretty dominant up front. Glendale were able to match them, but they've got big mobile forwards, and they seem to get around the park pretty well. And they've got a pretty good 19 combination, and they put the ball in the right areas of the field. They've got a good kick chase. So we have to realise that, and we have to understand, how to counteract that and how to get around those types of attacks. And we have to play our systems and stick to what we know, stick to the way want to play.
Sure. So with this league and the guys playing in it now, there's a great deal of familiarity between the players. So some of you played together in the pro thing, you played together in club games previously. Most players know most players now. So have you played against Will Holder before head-to-head? Obviously, Shalom, you must have.
Yep, I played against Will at one club game when I was playing for Barbos, and he was at Onback for the PRP. And obviously, Loms I played against. I played with Loms in some sevens as well. And, a lot of their players through when I was playing for Denver and through the PRP and, that sort of club comp there. And obviously, Rickert was part of the Ohio group and then some club rugby in Columbus. So I got a familiarity with some of those guys.
You mentioned Denver, that you're talking about the Denver Barbarians. You also played with Houston, and you were also with the Ohio Aviators in the old PRO Rugby USA setup. You've been around the American rugby scene. What do you think the difference is? And I keep asking guys that have had the shared experience, but what do you think the difference is with the MLR and Pro for you?
First and foremost, I was approached last year in June about the MLR, so I kind of had a sort of a good 6-7 months of lead up to it, where I was learning about it and talking with Ryan Fitzgerald and Nate. So there was a good amount of time leading up to the season. And I think the other the other difference is that we had a massive preseason. We were able to play preseason games. We were able to work on combinations, and we were together for a long time. And then you obviously have the difference in ownership and the alignment of already well-established clubs, which is a huge part.
Your coach is an Australian, Nate Osborne. What's it like as a Kiwi playing for an Aussie?
Oh, that's all right. You know what I mean? He knows what he's up to, and he's got a good some good crack on him. He likes to chat it up a little bit, and we kind of have a bit of banter here and there. So we don't have any other Kiwis on the team, so I kind of have to look for some of the American boys to get in and give them some stick. So, but no, it goes good.
Who was your favorite player growing up?
Christian Cullen growing up, for sure. I mean, there was a lot. Carlos Spencer, Lee Stensness.
Most annoying current teammate.
Ooh, most annoying. Pixeli Ratu Rinakama.
I could see that.
You have a final question?
Yeah, Taylor, so any plans for the summer? Are you coaching sevens anywhere? Anything popping up? I thought I read something recently.
I don't know what you read there, Steve, but we plan on going deep with the NOLA Gold and all the way into July, and then if there's some sevens opportunities that pops up in terms of coaching, then I'll definitely throw my hat in the ring. I'm going to do something with Jules McCoy and the.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, because it was announced the other day. It was announced.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was announced. Actually.
Breaking news here on Rugby Wrap Up, even for the participants.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. No, so I'm pretty excited to get stuck in with Jules. She's obviously a very, very good coach and well-respected coach and person. So yeah, I'll go and do a week with her and really have some fun and try and learn some stuff from her.
Good luck with that, and then enjoy the rest of the season, buddy.
All right, my friend. We're wishing you the best, and thanks for taking the time out to come on.
Appreciate it.
Cheers, Taylor.
Thanks very much.
All the best, pal.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Taylor Howden, everybody. Matt McCarthy and Steve Lewis here, and that's it because we're out of time. Rugby Wrap-Up in the Fantasy Sports Network Studio 34, talking rugby in Midtown Manhattan. Signing off.